Hey, welcome back to another episode of Radio 22's Talk 22. The show hosted by me, your boy Mizzle to the Jizzle, where we bring the conversations that you want to talk about and we bring to you with nothing but the real. So we back yet again, bringing you the conversations. This conversation, unfortunately, is that time of year, but I wanted this to be a celebration. This was supposed to be we're going to the bowl. But once again, my Packers. They're giving me the Jordan face, y'all. The Jordan cry face. Because once again, make it to the NFC Championship only to crumble right at the very end. I feel like we've seen this so many times. It's just so sad, y'all. If you're a Packer fan like your boy, you just hurting for this one. And, hopefully y'all are at home and can comment and send me all your comments because I definitely want to hear what you got to say about the conversation. But I also brought my heavy hitters, like I always do, to the conversation, and we're going to bring it to you now. Out of the Utah area, by way of Stevens Point, actually, we're coming with your boy Gavin. Gavin, can you say hello to the people? Please unmute your mic and say hello.
Am I unmuted now?
All right, there we go.
All right, good. Yeah, glad to be here. Wish it was under some different circumstances, but always glad to be on Talk 22 with you guys, and excited to talk about some Packers. Just wish it was under some different circumstances.
We're that close. We were that close. But okay, so also on the line, out of the Madison area, I got the homie Rob Dees. Rob Dees, thanks for coming back to the program. Can you unmute your mic and say hello?
Supper dough. Go Pack, go.
Man, that's what's up. We were so close, y'all. We were so close. Bear fans, I don't even want to hear from y'all. So anyways, also on the line, by way of DC and Stevens Point, he splits time, y'all. We got the homie Josh is on the line. Josh, can you say what's up to the people?
How's it going? Thanks for inviting me on here, Mizzle. I didn't know if you were going to invite me on after beating you in fantasy all year, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. The Packer love, right? Packer love.
It's just been a rough year, y'all. That COVID year.
Shots fired.
All right, so getting into it, we're gonna start with the first question. We're gonna start with you, Josh. I want to ask. Oh, it's so heartbreaking, you guys. But are the Packers ever gonna get past the NFC Championship game? I mean, we've came so close every time. I want to know your thoughts. Are you thinking they're ever gonna get past this NFC Championship game?
They will get past the NFC Championship game, and the way they're going to do it, and I'm going to go ahead and just get real on this, is the coaching needs to change. We need to do better in coaching more than anything. Because look, if we look back at this last game, right? Tom Brady and his little short man getting behind King, right? That's a coaching call. I
gotta agree. I couldn't even believe it for myself. We learned that back in 7th, 8th grade football. You winning at that point, you gotta play deep. The only thing you can do is not have them score. Keep everything in front of you, but.
Yeah, and we've seen this happen with when Randall Cobb caught that Hail Mary pass, right? He got behind the entire defense. I think that was a good, that's just players being aware, coaches giving the right sort of fundamentals to their players. And that's what it's going to take to get to win the NFC Championship.
Okay. Gavin, I want to know from you the same question. I feel like, man, we fumbled so many times that I'm looking at it, the 49ers now, I think this is their second time beating us in the NFC Championship game. Once with Kaepernick, and now here they won last year. And then now we see the Tampa Bay now spanking our butts. We lost to Russell Wilson and his team, I don't know how many times, getting this far. What is it going to take to get over this hurdle, man?
Yeah, man. This one hurts. It's been 4 times since we won the Super Bowl that we've lost in the NFC Championship, and I think this one, along with the Seattle one, holds some sting. That Seattle one in 2014, where that one was in the grasp, right? This one stings because I feel like it's pretty widely accepted that the Packers all season were the better team. And so to get here and for to come up that short, that just really hurts. So I think they get there. I think there needs to be some coaching changes, and then I think you just got to keep developing. That's what the Packers have always shown, that's what they're good at, is the draft and develop, and I think they're going to continue to do that. So,
okay. Rob, man, last but not least, we need to hear from you on this subject. What is it going to take to get over that hurdle, man?
Okay, so are you asking me, can they get back there? I would say yes. I agree to an extent about the coaching changes. I look at this kind of like I hate to say it, but it's kind of like a marriage. It's like by the 3rd year, you'll know if it's going to work or not. And it's like strides were made. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to the NFC Championship and hosted it. We didn't get there. Do I think bad coaching like McCarthy bad coaching? No. I think this will spark a fire in LaFleur to really go for it now. I think with the fact that Rodgers is on the timeline, the window for mistakes is a lot less. So I think they will get back to where they need to go. And just knowing Aaron Rodgers, man, like, he's kind of like that I'll show you kind of quarterback. Like, you thought this was it. You thought we could, so I definitely believe, man. I definitely believe.
Okay, Rob, I'm going to go right back to you with this question. We're talking about the coaching here, since you guys stepped into that one. Is LaFleur a Super Bowl contending coach or no?
I believe so. I do. I think one of the things that Packers needed was a spark of young innovation, and I think that he does hold a certain element of that. Now, with that being said, he's more of a technical, administrative type coach. So that standard fire in the fire, rough him up, go get him type of coach, he's not necessarily in that mold. But if he's managed to get the players to on board to his system. So, I think he is a good coach. And I think, for example, like I said, that timeline of Rodgers, I think they'll dive in even deeper to say, let's make this right. So I do believe that LaFleur is definitely a championship level coach. I mean, same kind of vein as McVay from the Rams. I mean, like, he fits in that young dude, go get it kind of category. So I dig it.
Okay. Gavin, I'm going to you next here. I want to know from you. Some will say that last field goal at the end was such a blunder. They put that right up there with Seattle's coach and not letting Marshawn run that in. They put it right up there with that, taking it out of the hands of your stud player at the very end in the winning moments. Do you feel like LaFleur has what it takes?
Yeah, I do. I think it's real hard to argue with 26-6 in the first 2 years. That's one of the best coaching records ever by a head coach in their first 2 years. I think about, like, you wouldn't cut your star quarterback that you invested all this capital in after 2 years of just getting to the NFC Championship. You can't do the same for the coach. but I think LaFleur needs to make some changes on his staff. Yeah, I think some questionable calls. He's still learning, but he has the respect of the players, and they've come together as a unit the last 2 years, and I don't see that changing. But I think some staffing changes on the defensive side for sure. Maybe new defensive coordinator, kind of like Rob was saying, getting someone who's going to bring some of that fire. And kind of light the fire under the defensive side is what I'd be looking for.
Okay. I mean, okay, Josh, this guy, he's a young guy. He's probably, was he in his 30? He's 30 years old or something like that. He's real young, Does he even have what it takes right here to beat out some of these slick coaches that have been coaching for the longest, the Bill Belichick's and such? Does he have what it takes to just go all the way with it?
That's a very interesting way of putting it, because I think about it from the aspect of sometimes he has the old school mentality, right? He's been watching them a lot. I don't know the stats, but from where I've been noticing, the fourth down convert, like going for it on fourth downs, right? My argument would be that we should have gone for the touchdown, right? The stats would say, or the statistics, right, in this case, is you keep control of the ball, right? And he might have, Aaron Rodgers wasn't able to convert. But now you don't even have that. You have a less of a chance of tying the game. And that's where I keep going back to the coaching. I mentioned this to Gavin sort of offline, where I see it, we're late in the game. Are we going to pull the goalie and go for it? And I think the statistics would be we pull the goalie and we shoot the shot. And we make it to the Super Bowl.
Okay. I think there's a point in every game where you got to try for it, right? And you just got to go for the gusto. Also, on a side note, I want to say shout out to the two NFL teams that are going to the Super Bowl that both have black offensive coordinators. A lot of people say that a lot of these black coaches don't have what it takes to be head coaches, but we're seeing both Super Bowl contending teams have black offensive coordinators. Something to think about. So,
can I add to that?
Yes, please.
All right. So Tampa Bay not only has the black offensive coordinators, but they have female coaches on their staff.
True. Very true. Yeah.
Right. So they're making some moves.
Sometimes you got to go there, where other people are thinking you don't have it, and you will find something very special in some of these places, in places that other people don't want to go. I mean, they want to go with the old hat, but at the same time, sometimes you find some flavor and you go elsewhere. So
the diversity.
Side note. Yes, Rob.
Can I add a side note?
Yes, please.
Urban Meyer will only be in Jacksonville for 3 years. Byron Leftwich will be the next coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mark my words.
Okay.
Heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Talk 22. Remember that. If y'all agree with what Rob's saying, please do comment. We do want to hear what y'all got to say as well. Okay, so going on to the next question. So much was said about that, that last play offensively, and we were looking at it with Aaron not having a chance to go for the fourth down. I want to know from you guys, is Aaron Rodgers a top 10 quarterback ever? I'm going to go back to you, Gavin.
Yeah, he's definitely top 10. I would even put him on the borderline top 5. It's really hard to argue with 400 touchdowns and less than 100 interceptions in your career. No other player is even close to that. I think he's got 89 interceptions for 400 plus touchdowns. Has said he wants to get to 500 before he hits 100 interceptions. I can't argue that he won't make it. Maybe the rings aren't there, but there's a lot of other quarterbacks that are in that top 10 that only have one ring too. I'm talking Roethlisberger, Breeze. The list goes on of quarterbacks with only one ring. So I would put him in the top 5. Yeah.
Okay. All right, but when we're looking at it like top quarters, I guess I'm looking like top ever. When it like we got Brett Favre out there, we got Dan Marino out there, we got Joe Montana out there, and not to mention the man who just beat him, Tom Brady's out there. Is Aaron a top 10 quarterback in your mind? Rob, going to you next.
I think the biggest thing that we have to take into account is, are we basing this off of just rings strictly?
No.
Okay. So overall, I would definitely put Aaron Rodgers in the lower 10 tier, and I would say between 8, 9, or 10. And the only reason is because of what Gab was just saying, like only one ring. I think he fares better than a Breeze, but there's also a number of other dudes that have been able to win a little bit more that puts them in the category. Just like, for example, we all know that Eli Manning's numbers aren't better than Aaron Rodgers, but he's got more chip. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to take that into consideration. So, that's why I would say, I could see him at an 8, 9, or 10 slot, and really it would be that 8 or 9 would be between him and Favre. I mean, they both MVP type numbers. They've all, they've done the requirements to get in there, but would I go top 5? No. Just being honest.
Okay. All right. I mean, yeah, you do have a lot of quarterbacks. You got Bradshaw. You got a lot of people out there that you could put up in the top. Josh, got to know from you. Is Aaron Rodgers a top 10 quarterback?
Absolutely. I mean, I think if we look at the stats, and I want to add something here, is that we're talking about quarterback, not team, right?
Correct.
So Aaron Rodgers is going to beat Eli Manning.
Yes.
Right? The team is different, right? So we could say the same thing about John Elway, right?
Okay.
We can go down the list here, but in statistics, right, you gotta think about that. So I would put him above 7, in terms of all time.
Okay, is he better than Elway?
I think he's better than Elway.
Wow.
But I want to preface something as we continue to talk.
Okay.
We talked about coaches and LaFleur. We talked about Aaron Rodgers. All these players are great. They got there for a reason.
Sure.
I've never played in the NFL, so I can only look at it from the scope of things. So I just want to make that clear to everybody.
We all
everyone's
fans.
Good.
It's just fan talk. Just fan talk. Yeah, ain't nobody's been on the field. Ain't nobody got a chip to show. So
no.
Yeah, it's just fan talk. Wait. So let's
follow up on that, Mizzle.
Go ahead, Gavin.
I think sometimes some of the knock on, or some of the what Aaron Rodgers gets looked at negatively, is he elevates middle of the road or bad teams, and he gets them further than they maybe should have. And so it looks like when you look back at these records, like 2016 getting whooped by Atlanta in the NFC Championship, like I think Rodgers actually did more to get the team there, and it was maybe elevating a second-tier team that year into that championship game. And then it looks like he's failed, but really he's taken them further than that team maybe should have.
That's an interesting point. Making them look a lot better than they actually are.
Yeah, he helped them overachieve. Yeah.
Okay, so that being said, I'm gonna go to the next question real quick. I'm gonna start back with you, Josh. I want to know with you. That being said, that Rodgers is a top 10 quarterback in your mind. Do you think finally we're gonna have Goot finally give this man now some help next year in the draft? Is it time?
It's time. And I think who he's going to get, I think they've really developed a lot of the defense. Maybe they add a few more, like one or two players on the defense, and then they give Rodgers some weapons to really go after. I mean, Devontae is going to be great. They have a good, solid core, and so he's going to be able to, make some risky, maybe some might say riskier moves in the draft or in the offseason.
Okay.
But he's going to be able to make those adjustments and feel the pressure from Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Rob, like Aaron said at the end of the game, nobody's future is really set. He doesn't know about anybody's future next year. There's so many players that could be leaving the team. You don't know who's going to get a contract, who ain't going to get that contract. Is this the year that now this man played to MVP status? Can you get him some help? Not another backup quarterback. Don't draft a punter that wears little boy pants. I mean, can you finally get some real help for this man, finally, so he can win that chip?
All right. Well, I'll say this, man. Like, I think it was Gab who was saying it earlier. Like, we definitely play by the code of developing talent and letting it grow, next man up, development, all that stuff. I think the biggest thing that could be done right now is not through the draft. Like, for example, I feel like I like the receiving core that we have. I would knock number 2 down to number 3, and hear me out. I would definitely make Lazard, MVS, and who was the other one I'm thinking of now?
St. Brown.
St. Brown. Bump him down and get us a solid number 2 receiver to offset Devontae. If you move those 3 down, we got a 4 or 5 deep receiving core. Because if you look, the receivers pretty much showed up. I mean, and developed over the course of the year. So I like that. When I say that, that means you get a veteran receiver out of somewhere. I also think we need to get rid of Kevin King. I'm not the only person that said that, but it's time, and you have to go and you have to be aggressive and not developing at that position. You need to do that via trade with the money that we can spend. You got to re-sign the line on Lindsley, but other than that, man, like, it's only a couple pieces away. We're not as far as we have been. Like, our defense, I mean, we finished in the top 10. Like, we've come up. So, like I said, I think Goots needs to make moves, but I don't think these are draft moves. I think you need to be aggressive and try to make some wheeling and dealing and do it that way.
Okay. All right. So specifically for the draft now, Gavin, I need to know from you, is this the year that we can now start drafting some real quality players for this man, Aaron Rodgers, that some real targets that can help him win?
I mean, I think the narrative that Packers fans so often have is that we don't give Aaron Rodgers talent is I just don't buy into it. They drafted Josiah DeGuara, the touted tight end out of Cincinnati last year. He was on IR all year. He's going to be coming off IR. Should hopefully slot in there next to Tunyon. The draft and develop plan works. When teams get away from drafting the trench guys, the big dudes, the offensive linemen, the defensive linemen, that's when they just start going downhill. Those are the guys that you need to draft and develop. You look at Bakhtiari, Lindsley, all those guys are guys that Elton Jenkins now, all guys that were drafted on our team. And that was our shining spot this year, was the offensive line. Where we failed on the defensive line, aside from Kenny Clark, we had to go out and spend money on free agents, and the Smith brothers have been awesome. But but those are the key positions that you got to be spending draft capital at, and then getting your Aaron Joneses, your Devontaes in rounds 3, 4, 5 rather than rounds 1 and 2.
Okay. All right. I mean, I see that, but at the same time, the offensive line looked a little shaky this last game. Now, I don't think they can guard these guys. Even against the Rams, they were having some trouble with my mans. If he weren't hurt, it would have been maybe a different game against LA there. So, they're gonna have to step it up.
Shout out to Turner, man. Turner held it down this year. Let's go. Anyway.
All right. So that being said, I need to know from you, Gavin. I'm gonna go back to you. What players do you think we can build around that are on the Packers?
I think you look in the secondary is where I start. Jair Alexander, he's turning into a top 3 corner in the league. He's going to be the centerpiece of that defense.
Okay.
Savage with his picks this season, he's definitely coming around as a second-year player. I think those are going to be the centerpieces to your secondary.
You like Amos?
What's that?
You like Amos?
Yeah, man, there's a great free agent signing 2 years ago. I think he brings a lot of leadership, and that's why you see Savage coming on as he is, because Amos is mentoring him and bringing him along. And then, Kenny Clark got the contract last year. He's the linchpin on that defensive line, being in the middle there.
Okay.
So those are guys you're building around. Offense, obviously, we got to ride Rodgers as long as we can, in my opinion. And Devontae's, number 2 wide receiver in the league, and he's not number 2. So.
Gotcha. All right. So those are some good quality parts that you want to hold it down and keep. Rob, I want to ask you now, what parts do you feel like we definitely need to just hold on to and build around?
I agree with Gab. I like the defense. I think one person we got to mention is Rashawn Gary.
Okay.
Also Burns, man. I know he hurt his hand, but that linchpin being able to call plays and be young and be versatile. I think he's going to be super dope. I'm sorry. I'm very pro Derrick Henry, so I think Dylan is going to be a more of a presence next year. I like Jamal Williams, but I see Dylan playing a more active role in what we're doing. So those are guys. Tunyon, and sky's the limit for Tunyon. He's still a young guy, technically. So, Jenkins on the line, we mentioned him earlier. So, we got some stuff to work with, man. And stuff that's developing, and we have developed it. So, I see some stuff we got.
Okay. We do have some.
By the way,
we do have some people coming into their contracts. Like you said, Lindsey. I believe Aaron Jones is coming into the contract year. Josh, who you keeping? Who you gonna let go?
Well, I'm gonna pick one person. I feel like Rob just picked the entire Packers, man. He just went after I'll take everybody. I like them all except for 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're all young and they're gonna be around.
So if I don't pick all the Packers, I'm gonna pick one Packer to build around. Would be AJ Dillon.
Dillon, okay. Young running back.
So I think we do well if we have a really good running back. If we have Rodgers, maybe this comes into play. How many more years down the line are we going to have Aaron Rodgers, right? The prediction would be for me. I'm going to jump ahead here, Mizzle, but 3 to 4 years, we have a good shot at having AJ Dillon really lead into the next 4 years and drive this offense with Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Yeah, let's just go to that next question. And the next question actually was going to be, how much longer do we feel like Aaron Rodgers will be playing for the Packers? There was some skeptical talk that he may be trying to leave even this next year and head off to San Fran or some other place, Chicago. We don't know, but he did kind of clear the air today and said that he does want to come back to Green Bay. But how long, Gavin, do you see him playing for the Green Bay Packers?
I mean, I believe he's got 2 more years left on his contract. I think you play that out either way, and then in that, and depending on how things go, I'd want to avoid probably getting into a Breeze situation where he's playing just year to year, signing a 1-year contract, because that's not great for salary cap and things like that.
Okay.
I think a lot of it depends on what happens this next year. If it's another successful year, I think he's around for a little bit more. If it's a complete disappointment, he might have to try and work his way out sooner, and the Packers might have to try and start to rebuild sooner. But I think he's at least here through his contract. The trading him or him trying to force his way out before that, I don't buy that. So
Okay. All right, Rob. We do know they just drafted Mr. Love. That was a big draft. They even went up in the draft to go get him. How much longer do we see Mr. Aaron Rodgers playing for the Green Bay Pack, the green and gold?
Okay. For the answer, I'm going to answer the first part of what you just said. How long did Aaron Rodgers sit behind Brett Favre before he played?
I believe he sat like 3-4 years.
4 years, right?
Yeah.
So this was year 1 of Jordan Love. So that means we're looking at a 1 to 2 year window. For me personally, I don't think Aaron Rodgers speaks out if they win the Super Bowl next year. Other than that, then we'll see. He's going to bounce. He's going to go somewhere in Cali and play. He wants to play back home. But I definitely think he's 100% all in for the next year. And I think it's like I said earlier. It's like that 3-year marriage. It's like this is the make or break year to determine whether it's going, whether he'll ride off in the sunset here or he bounces for greener pastures.
I mean, the man is what? He's a 36, 37?
Yeah.
37. Yeah, we getting up there in age, I mean, you start feeling all those. You get to 40, you feel everyone. You can't be keeping up with those 20-year-olds no more like that. So, so we will really have to see how much longer he does play out. He might want to.
I think he'll play through the 2023 season.
Okay.
Is when his contract ends, right? Through that season.
Yeah.
And I think he'll do it. I mean, I think he'll finish it off and go strong, because I think he really wants to win with the Packers. He's always been with the Packers, and
right.
I mean, obviously he's the one that can tell, but from what I've seen, he's invested in being a part of the Wisconsin community, and the Green Bay Packers are about community, right? True. And it's built on the back of the community. He didn't stick with the Bucs just for the sake of, I want to be an owner. He loves the team, and it's part of his community. So I think he'll stay through 2023 when his contract ends.
Okay. All right. So another question I need to ask you guys: what players do you feel like we need to get rid of? Then we talked about what players we need to keep. What players do you feel like needs to maybe be replaced?
Rob's probably got like 1 or 2 players, right? And the rest we're keeping. So I'll start with Rob, and then we'll swing back around.
Well, let's start with you, Josh.
Let's get rid of them.
Josh, let's start with you. What players would you feel like we gotta upgrade in?
I mean, I think a lot of our if we look at the depth chart, the second tier players, unfortunately, I had high hopes on Josh Jackson, not just because we have the same name, obviously, which is kind of cool. But I had high hopes on him, and I don't know if we should keep a lot of these people and we go after someone a little bit bigger to fill some of those roles. St. Brown hasn't done it for me. I mean, I don't.
How did he drop that?
I don't know, but Lazard didn't do well either in this last game. I'm not saying you get rid of him, but he's not high on the list like you did a lot to keep around. So I would go that way, is kind of some of these secondary players that have been around for a couple of years. I think we just need to upgrade in that arena. And so that's where I'd say Josh, I mean, you got to love the man for his name. But I had high hopes for him. I had really high hopes for him. I think King, we had really high hopes for him. And he had a good season, but he's just dropped off. So we get rid of him. Lazard is probably another one that actually I can see getting rid of, and St. Brown. Yeah, that's where I'd start.
Okay, fair. Rob, I need to know from you the same question. Before we start, we got to be fair to the man, Kevin King. He was injured. There was some even talk about him not even playing the game. They did bring in with my man Tremont Williams, who was said to maybe play the game, but in the end they didn't need him because King did play the game. Maybe he shouldn't have, but he did, and he had a bad game. What can we say?
Okay, can I rebuttal there?
Let's get to Rob real quick. Go
ahead. I mean, I'm only keeping it to one player this go round. So you go ahead. I'm only gonna just say what you say. I got you.
Okay, go ahead.
Coaching. As I said before, coaching. It's got to be better coaching in terms of King.
Okay, all right. And I agree with you there too, Jed. I see your comment. King was a joker last game. We do agree with that. You just can't let the man behind you. We learned that way back in 7th, 8th grade football. We got to know you can't not on that play. You're already up. He said, "Put in Tremont," and I do agree with that as well. All right, so Rob, same question to you. What areas of the package do you feel like we need to upgrade?
I'm only sticking it to one player, and I'm still going back to Kevin King. I mean, I understand you can almost put him in St. Brown in the same kind of category. Like the injuries kind of put an asterisk on their development, So but I feel like there was a couple weeks towards the end of the year where Kevin King looked a lot like an old version of Al Harris, like talking plenty smack, but like steady getting burnt, like. So I'm just saying, like, and that, he almost falls in him. You mentioned Josh Jackson earlier. Like, for every Jair Alexander, there's kind of that DeMarcus Randall kind of dude that doesn't necessarily pan out. Like, and that's kind of the way I feel about Kevin King. And this is not just this year specifically. I just feel like, he's gotten picked on when he's been in. So he's done well, but at the same time, I think he talk a lot more smack. He's a lot more bark than bite. So that would be the dude that I would be like, kick rocks.
Okay. I mean, but it is so hard when they're not going to throw the number 23 side. Like Gavin said, that's a top 3 DB in the whole league.
You know what? You stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready. Kevin can't prove he ain't ready.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get the man a little reprieve, something, because I think we've been really hard on him, but at the same time, you didn't play well. You just really didn't play well. What can we say? Gavin, what areas do the Packers need to improve on?
Well, I don't want to pile on Kevin King, but I was wearing his jersey on Sunday, and it didn't feel so hot. So. But I think Kevin King's a free agent. I think you move on from him because less because of the short term struggles here, but the injury history. We knew when we drafted him that he had an injury history, and he's proven that he can't overcome that, and that's why you got to move on there. When I look at areas that the Packers need to improve, it's less about getting rid of players in my mind, but developing those players. We look at Rashawn Gary from year 1 to year 2, huge strides. Rob brought up Chris Barnes earlier. He's an undrafted rookie that was calling the plays in the middle of the defense. He is going to take some huge steps. So I feel like I've been saying it, but it's the develop. You let those guys develop. But I'm going to have to beef with Josh a little bit. Lazard is an undrafted wide receiver that we claimed off the Jacksonville practice squad. That dude was a legit number 2 wide receiver this year. Like, he is going to develop into something.
I don't know about
much
that.
But can I jump in on what Gavin said? I'm telling you, if we go out and get a number 2 receiver, Lazard will be an excellent 3.
Yeah, and we got Funchess. You never know what's going to happen with Funchess this year.
Yeah,
so.
He
opted out this year, and
do they have to re-sign him? Was he a 1 year contract?
His contract? He can play. He'll play under his contract from last year on this next year. So,
and I was saying get rid of MVS for the longest, but he kind of started to show some things towards the end of the year. I mean, he did league in yards per catch and all that stuff, but yeah. So, I mean, it's some parts there, dog.
He does have alligator arms, but the man can run. And he gets down the field. He just has a hard time grabbing the ball. What can I say? All right, so the Packers, unfortunately, they did not win. And we did see the Tampa Bay did move on. So I guess my question to you guys is, who do you expect to see win this year's Super Bowl then between them and the Kansas City Chiefs? I'm going to go to you, Gavin.
I expect to see the Chiefs repeat. I think, you look at they haven't really blown anyone out, but I read the other day Mahomes hasn't lost a game by more than 1 score since Texas Tech played Iowa State in 2016.
Wow,
that is a hard stat to argue with. Like they're going to be in it. I think Mahomes solidifies himself as the top tier, quarterbacks in the league with back-to-back Super Bowls. So.
Okay. Josh, who do you feel like is going to win this Super Bowl? Who are you picking?
I don't have a care about either one of these teams. Let's just get that straight.
Okay. No horse in the race, but if you were to pick, who would you pick?
I mean, if I'm going to go with I'll go with my gut and say Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay. And then last but not least, Rob, who are you expecting to pull off the victory here in the Super Bowl?
I am a conference loyalist, so my brain naturally says pick the Buccaneers. But because I just get sick of seeing Tom Brady win, I got to go with my homie. Like, I got to go with Mahomes, man. I'm going with Kansas City. I just think that they have too much talent to fall off. Like, they can beat you in so many different ways. And as good as Tampa Bay's defense is playing right now, I just think that offense is good enough. It goes to what Gavin was saying. They might not blow you out, but they are winners, and they know how to win. Therefore, I got to roll with Kansas City for the win.
Okay. One of the things I did find interesting is that we actually are going to see in the Super Bowl Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown on opposite teams playing in the Super Bowl. That is something that I didn't think was ever going to happen, but what do I know? So going on to the next question, we want to ask, okay, so being said that they are going to the Super Bowl, that being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, can the youthful quarterbacks of the AFC, being Mahomes, like I said, beat the GOAT? And I'm gonna go to Rob. Rob.
Man, I just said that. Yeah. I feel like, hey man, Mahomes is something kind of special, dude. Like, you know, not only is he a gifted athlete, but he just has that winner mentality. Like, you just feel it. Like, and I know people are going to give me grief, but like that Tim Tebow kind of, I'm just going to win and do it. And then you add on the talent package and the skill set that he has, it's hard to knock him, man. And don't get it wrong, man. Tom Brady got the juice. I mean, he got 6 rings for a reason. But if anybody can do it in like the David Goliath type way, I'm taking Mahomes. That's just it. So yeah.
Okay. Gavin, this year's Super Bowl was really, either way it played out, was going to be youth versus, older quarterback. If it was our quarterback or if it was Brady, it still was either way. It was going to be older quarterback going against the two youthful quarterbacks of the Bills and the Chiefs. Who do you feel like has it this year? Is it going to be the youthful quarterbacks of the new generation, or these old school?
Yeah, I think this year really is kind of signifying a changing of the guard. You got Josh Allen, you got Mahomes. Just this week, Rivers retired. Breeze is sounding like he's headed that way.
Yeah.
Roethlisberger's not going to last too much longer here.
True.
You look at guys like Mahomes, Allen, Joe Burrow was having a pretty good season in Cincinnati until he got hurt.
That's true.
Baker.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, man. He, bringing the Browns out of the toilet, man. Like, but I think this year's really changing the guards, and this Super Bowl is going to kind of signify that with back-to-back Mahomes victories. So,
okay. And then Josh, do you feel like what Gavin just said? It's the changing of the guard. Do you feel like the youthful quarterbacks of today are ready to show up the past GOATs?
Yeah, I think all the stars are showing that in the alignment here that the young youthful quarterbacks are going to get it done. Murray, I think he has a good shot. Lamar Jackson still looks good, and they're kind of in that middle of the road, right?
Right.
But you have the people like Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and then you add in sort of the Lamar Jackson, Kyrie Murray, that it's going to really start to be harder for the older quarterbacks. Now, if you had asked me this earlier, right, there were very few. There was I don't think Rivers was that great of a quarterback, right? Eli Manning, I think, was a better quarterback. If we want to go back that way, he's a better quarterback than Rivers.
Please light up my comment section now. We definitely want to hear from you. So, all right. Thank you for that, Josh.
Hey, don't forget about Dak Prescott.
Yeah. Definitely, you guys. We want to hear from you here at home. If you agree with Josh, if you disagree with Josh, we definitely want to hear about that ASAP. So please write your comments in. All right. So, last question: is Tom Brady the most accomplished athlete ever? And I'm going to start with you, Josh. Is Tom Brady the most accomplished athlete ever? We're talking about 6 Super Bowls, or 10 Super Bowls, 6 rings at this point. Could be 7. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's pretty good for the sport that he's playing in.
Mm-hmm.
If we're comparing to all other sports, I think it's definitely a lot harder. The Federer has done really well. Like the tennis world has a lot of good accomplished athletes. You have the boxing world, right?
50-0.
50-0. That's really hard to beat. So I'm going to say no, and I'm going to give it to the 50-0.
Money May.
Yeah.
Okay. Rob, I want to know from you. You know, they say Tom is the GOAT, but now they're saying he's the GOAT of all sports. Do you feel like he could be the greatest ever accomplished player, athlete ever?
Tom Brady can easily be stated as the best football player ever, hands down. Athlete, I'm not gonna say that, and I'm a Wisconsin sports loyal guy, but I would have to say that Jordan tops Brady for best athlete, along with Mayweather. We didn't even mention Michael Phelps. Like, real talk, I'm just being honest. Like, so I mean, like, he is the best football player that probably ever played. If you're talking about chip, winning, all that stuff, proving his merit, all that stuff. But best athlete, don't know if I can say best athlete ever.
Okay. Gavin, do you feel like Tom Brady could possibly be, if he wins this Super Bowl here, that would be 7 out of 10 Super Bowls that he won a championship. Could he possibly be the greatest athlete ever?
Talking most accomplished or greatest athlete, that's a tough conversation. I think I'm with Rob that I think Brady's got claim to most accomplished football player ever. Okay. You guys have all named some people that I think definitely deserve to be in the conversation. I would put I'm going to say Bill Russell, most accomplished athlete ever. 11-time champion, 5-time MVP, 2-time NCAA champion, 1-time Olympic champion, 12-time All-Star. That's accomplishment right there.
Yeah,
that's tough to argue with. I can't elevate Brady over that. I mean, and Bill Russell was a coach and a player on 2 of those championship teams. He was coaching them and playing at the same time.
Yeah, that's tough. That's hard right there. But there's so many good the Tiger Woods was killing for golf for so long.
Muhammad Ali.
You got Muhammad Ali.
Jeter
was killing. We got Wayne Gretzky. We got Grant Fuhrer. We got so many Michael Phelps. We got so many amazing athletes out there that it's really hard to put Tom past most of these guys.
Carl Lewis.
Some of these soccer champs, Rolando and these guys, they've been killing for so long too. So it's just so hard to when you match up all the different sports. But I gotta say, if you do 7 out of 10 Super Bowls, that you got that win, man, that's hard right there. You got to give it up to the man. So
Ricky Bobby.
We will see how it all ends. Unfortunately, it did end for the Packers, and we are so sad, so sad. It's probably the last year you're gonna see this jersey on me this season here. So sad, but it is what it is. We're gonna be back, like Lil Wayne said, "Go Pack, go." You heard the song. I would play it, but I don't want to get sued. So, anyways, we want to thank everybody that was listening today. I want to thank my guest today. Josh, can you please let the people know where they can maybe find you on social media and whatnot?
Yeah, that's a great question. Josh Jackson _CO. You can find me on Instagram.
Okay, well, we thank you for joining the program today, sir.
Thank you.
And best believe I will be revenging my fantasy football next year. I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to take me all the way. I came up just short once again, just like he did. But, I don't know. What am I going to say? All right. Also, Gavin, we want to thank you for joining the program. Gavin, can you let the people know where they can find you?
Yeah, Instagram below, The Real Gavitron. One real quick thing, we're starting a grassroots effort to get Josh Jackson on the the Packers board of directors. He's officially nominated and on the list, so his name's going to be going before the review committee. So if you want to be involved in that, hit one of us up on Instagram or find us on somewhere, and we'll get you involved. It's gonna be good.
And he means this Josh Jackson. So
this Josh Jackson.
So please, yes, do reach out to Josh, as he will be on the Packers board, and hopefully next year is what we're shooting for. And we do wish you hopeful congratulations with that, okay? Also, Rob Dees, we got you on the line out of Madison area. Can you please let the people know what you've been up to and where they can find you?
Living this life. You can find me on social media. On Facebook, you can currently find me at Rob Franklin. There will be a Rob Dees page, artist page, emerging pretty soon. Got some things going on. IG, you can reach me at Rob Dees at you, ROBDZATU. You can also check out robdees.rocks. That's the website, WordPress little thing I got, just kind of keeping up to date with what I'm on. So hope to see y'all soon. Go Pack, go. Yeah.
Well, we thank you, Rob. And did I see you had a video shoot not too long ago? You coming out with a new video?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, y'all. Rob Dees.
Rob
All
Dees.
right. So we thank all of you for joining the program. And man, until next time, y'all. We're coming back next season even harder with the Packers, hopefully. But until then, we're gonna move on to the Bucks and to the Brewers. But it is what it is, y'all. We'll have to see, hopefully, see what Tom Brady and Mahomes gonna do here. But until next time, I'm gonna go cry. It's your boy Mizzle Jizzle. You've been watching Talk 22 on Radio 22. Peace.
Drew Howland, come here.